Ch1. You are listening at famvetv.info. In a fog so thick that you could not even see that there were people from the outside, two twins with the same face, but their clothes and atmosphere were completely different, so anyone could easily tell them apart. The man in the black robe was called Dogma, Venom, but his mood was dark, and the man in the white robe was called Ui.Cian, Medical Immortal, and he had an atmosphere like a bachelor. It could be said that even though the face is the same, the atmosphere of the face changed depending on the field in which he studied throughout his life. Among them, the Venom demon drank black tea of an unknown identity and then spoke bluntly to the disciple, Hassan. Yes. Are you sure? After only 12 years of training. Yes. You're sick of poison, isn't it? No, the poison demon spoke while his eyes were closed. You will become involved in the affairs of powerful experts if you attend to Hukdu. In reality, it is better for people to live peacefully in an area with beautiful mountains and fresh water. Like us. While the master talked, the student, jinsung, paid attention to his facial expressions. That wasn't about what the Venom demon said, because Master Venom demon was a troublemaker who started off young. However, the poison demon always converses in this manner, so the student was not alarmed. Master, the original saying is that we are allowed to go back to our hometown every 4 years, the disciples, that I've been here for 12 years. Think of it as a vacation. The Venom demon snorted. Vacation. Yes. Do you believe the swordsmanship school you formerly attended will remain or exist on the Black Island? I'll have to check. You won't find anyone there. That must have been smashed long ago. There were a lot of beautiful women, weren't they? Yes. The show was also quite popular. Right. Yes. The sword dance may have been destroyed if the black sword breakers had charged in. They would murder the males and sexually assault the women. I believe the gates of blood or the gates of judo were responsible. Jinsung.Han's expression darkened. Yes. It is possible. Ah, are you saying that you are expecting that much? Yes. Then what are you going to do? As the Venom demon waited for an answer, Jinsung.Han calmly said, I am 20.6 this year. No. I was with you for 12 years, but 14 of those were spent with the sword dance group that raised me as an orphan. If there is a favor, I will repay it, and if there is a grudge, I will repay it. When Jinsung.Han responded with a serious expression, the Venom demon smirked. You should know that your martial arts aren't finished yet. Jinsung.Han said with a smile. Even if it wasn't complete, is the disciple of the Venom demon easy to deal with? At the disciple's words, the poison devil snorted at him. What do you say? You are not like us. If you think that you can beat many of Kangho's masters just because you have unusual physical regeneration, you are mistaken. Yusun, who had been silent, added a word. I'd rather send you to an area ruled by the Orthodox faction. Isn't your hometown the realm of the Black Island? Yes. I think Venom was accurate in his judgment. There will be a lot of blood when you leave. Are you continuing? Jinsung persisted until the very end. His answer was also simple, yes. If still is even one person alive, I will repay him the disciple's grace. Poison Horse and Eui, Sun clicked their tongues at the same time. TT. At Jinsung.Han's words, the Venom demon sighed. Since he was a disciple who had been with him since childhood, he couldn't get a sense of what Kangho was looks like. Jinsung wanted to get out of the arms of his masters. Gentlemen, the poison demon in particular, the poison demon did not belong to the class of ordinary people. If he was a normal person, he wouldn't confirm the effectiveness of the poison by poisoning jinsung without any sympathy. He got tired of being poisoned and treated, over and over again. So much so that he hated his regeneration power. The deadly poison gradually turned Jinsung's eyes red. He was pleased to have learned martial arts, but every time he was used as a test subject, he had to put up with suffering that was too much for him to handle. Of course, thanks to that, it wasn't a full blowout, but it was a situation where it was naturally, he was able to master the 1000 poison technique as a result of that. But, he doubted how long his body would last, though, I want to go back, whether it's Hassan, Kangho or returning home. It didn't matter, Han wanted to go out to the outside world. He wouldn't be surprised if his masters, who are trying to create eternal members, sacrificed him at any point if he continued here. The attachment between them had grown over the last 12 years, so it was good that Venom Demon was now willing to listen to his narrative. How much effort did Han put in for such a relationship? The effort was due to the desire to return home one day. Also, Han knew more than anyone that Venom Demon had to leave soon. All the poison and herbal ingredients have run out. Since they are not ordinary masters, they will have to search the world to find rare medicinal herbs. Feeling that the student's decision was not normal, the poison demon sighed and said, "Your stubbornness is not possessed by anyone else. After a long time, let me hear your bullshit, fake stories, for once." Han responded positively. "Nonsense gossip. Okay, from now on, the disciple will tell a story again. Frankly, this is ALIE. In other words, it was a diverse talent he had learned from a young age in the dance group, but the master saw Han's talent and gave him the name Hyoun Shin Gong. In short, it was lying. The two masters rejoiced every time the disciple spread the false rumors. Han changed his expression and smoothed out his voice to spread the lie. Sun didn't care whether the disciples' words were true or false. It was because they were unique men who would believe them if they were fun and interesting, and would consider them a lie if they were boring. Han, who had organized his thoughts, continued his speech. "Actually, my body hasn't been like this since I was born." That sounds funny. When Xian's eyes started to shine brightly, Han smiled. "It's a good start." Han responded with a serious expression. "Even if I had told the truth, it was so vain that both masters would not have believed it." Sun dazzled his eyes with an innocent expression, as if he would unconditionally believe the words of his disciple. Yusin had a completely different personality from his Venom Demon. Of course, they were similar in terms of being nerdy. Han continued his speech. "It is said that I was born in a dye shop that was doing business on Jungang.Daro on Kohyuk.ro. I lost my parents and joined the sword dance group. I already know that." At Dokma's words, Han continued. "Actually, there was a peach tree in the corner of the wide dance hall used by the swordsman." Peach tree. What about the peach tree? Han's words continued. "I ate most of the most delicious peaches on that tree. Because I was hungry and I knew exactly when it was open and when it was the best. But one year the peach tree smelt strangely fragrant and sweet. A golden peach, which had a completely different color from the other peaches, hung high on the tree, and no matter how hard I hit it with a branch, it did not fall. I specifically called it Son Goku Peach. In any case, it was untouched, so I was just watching, but one day, a strange-looking snake, with his head in it, was dangling from the peach of Son Goku. The Venom Demon was surprised. If he was a rare snake, Han looked at Dokma's expression and continued speaking quickly. "I knew it as soon as I saw it. That snake got drunk while eating my son Goku's peaches. After a while, the snake fell to the ground. It fell. What happened?" Han paused for a moment before continuing. "What do you mean he has two heads? Masters, is there such a case?" At this time, the non-demon raised his voice. "The lie has reached its peak." Sun added positive comments. "It's two-headed. One of a kind, it is definitely a spirit creature that exists. A poisonous devil clicked his tongue. If it actually existed, it would have produced the greatest poison in the history of Kong.Ho, which is a pity." Han continued his words without a break. "Anyway, the two-headed body was strangely transparent. One head was red and the other was golden. It's not a normal two-headed creature. I don't know the name. Anyway, I was angry that he ate the Son Goku peach that I wanted to eat from later. Usually, when I was hungry, I often caught a snake and roasted it, so I took out a knife and cut off the drunken snake's two heads. When Dogma's pupils shook, Jean So.Han's words changed. I grabbed the part one could and went to the kitchen. It was early, so there wasn't anybody there. After boiling water in a pot, I thought about how to eat this bastard. But there was no need to cook. Why? Is it true that snakes that are close to spiritual creatures have inner ends? I came here to learn that. Right. The two heads that ate the peaches from Son Goku threw up their inner pods for whatever reason. The inner tear is red and golden, but the problem is that the tear also smells like a deep peach. No. It seemed that something was wrong with the twins eating the Son Goku peaches. Even though it wasn't a big deal, Dogma and Yuzian each had a point, so they swallowed their saliva. Ironically, one person thought of extreme poison, and the other person thought of an extremely effective elixir. The Venom Demon asked, "So what do you mean?" Jean So.Han suddenly slowed the pace of what he was saying. After eating this inner altar, will you absorb the energy of the elixir that will never exist in heaven? Of course I should have eaten. Master detoxifies. Ah, that was the time when I hadn't met you. Yes. Anyway, I closed my eyes and decided to eat. The reason I was able to gamble was because I believed that the poisons of the red and golden inner altars were neutralized by the effect of the magical peach. I swallowed them both immediately. Oh, you did really well. As Dogma nodded, Yusin also hurriedly asked for the next story. So what happened? Jean So.Han paused for a moment. It was because he learned through performance that he should take his own breath when telling a story. Listen to the full novel at famvetv.info, direct link in the description.